I had Christmas Day here last year, which was unusual for me to come and have Christmas at a restaurant at a retirement village. That's the main impact of it, trying to include the community and make it a healthy place to live. The directors of Living Choice really tried to pack in as much as they could on what is a relatively small site. So you've got hydrotherapy pools and cinemas and a bowling green and obviously the cafe and the restaurant, full-size billiard table, craft rooms, as many facilities as they could possibly pack into the site. Having family interact with you at a retirement village, that's part of it, making it your home. So the residents come to live here, sure, they've purchased a property, make the whole place their home. Quite often I'll come in and see that there's 5 or 6 kids camped in the cinema watching Sesame Street or Peppa Pig or whatever is the current go. So they can watch TV in that cinema. But then also seeing outside businesses using the lecture theatre, and there's a company today using the auditorium, 120-seater auditorium. That just adds some vibrancy to the ground floor and makes the residents feel like what a great place to be. My favourite aspect of the design is the way that one of the directors of Living Choice and I have worked. He will come and sit and camp in my office, at my desk, for sometimes up to 8 hours a day. Insofar as the way it looks, he wanted that appearance of quality. He was after a solid building. He wanted a heavyweight structure. He wanted tall doors, wide doors. He wanted real timbers. He wanted stone bench tops, quality carpets. They're all domestic settings. He wanted people to be able to walk into the village and go, yes, this is a quality building. We had to be very careful of the interests of our neighbours, and we've really tapered the building down towards those neighbours, so it really presents as a 3-storey building, particularly to the west. That's the majority of our residential neighbours, and then it ramps up to a 6-storey building towards the east, where we front the 10-storey hospital, so obviously not the same height impact there. That was the major driver for the way the building works. The other thing was, one of the directors was very adamant that he wanted as much light coming through as possible. So we've set the distance of the 2 main residential towers up so that every apartment facing north gets sunlight. Even in the middle of winter, the ground floor apartments will get sunlight and not get shaded by the front building. We're based in leafy Fullarton, certainly one of the older areas in South Australia. If you drive down the streets, you'll see older sandstone buildings and that sort of thing. We needed to make it attractive to people who had that lifestyle of a large block, a large house. Apartment living's not something that people in South Australia are used to. So we had to come up with a scheme that gave a lot of light and a lot of air to those apartments, and the windows was a massive part of that. So taking the windows up above ceiling line to try and take the view out of the building out to the open spaces. We've got fantastic views to the hills on the southernmost apartments. You've got views into the courtyard, the large courtyard, through the guts of the facility, you know, down to the bowling green in the centre corridor, and then fantastic views to the hills and again to the city even on the northern facing apartments on the northern buildings. We've tried to design the building to be faithful to the needs of people who are going to age in place. So while the village is a 55-year-old plus retirement village, and we've got quite a young group of retirees in here at the moment, those people will age in place, and they'll have differing levels of abilities. The larger bathrooms, the larger doors, the large open spaces, the accesses to the doors. So all of the internal residential areas have got that ability to have somebody going around in a scooter. And that's an important thing. It adds to the space value. When you walk into the home, it's all a very free open space. The other aspect of every design, and there's 23 or 24 different apartment styles, is minimising a passageway, so making maximum use of the available space in the apartment to try and create a large, airy space, and then storage. It's all about quality. A value for money, of course, but trying to impress on people the quality of what they can move into. Through the 5-year process, I've got to know, I would count myself as friends with a number of the residents. They come up and tap me on the shoulder, so I know them quite well. They're always very proud to tell me, you know, what aspect of their apartment works, how they've found some new aspect that makes their life better.